Now that we have our left leg rig, we can duplicate it. So we're going to select the hip bone, which will select everything. We're going to go to skeleton and then mirror joints. Click on the options and we're going to mirror it across the Y and the Z. We're going to search for bone left hip, which is this one, main bone. And we're going to replace it with bone right hip. And then we're going to click apply and close. So as you can see, it's duplicated the bone, and it also did the IK. The only thing that didn't come along was the controller. So we're going to duplicate the controller again. We're going to align it, pressing V, and then to the main bone. There we go, almost. There we go. Then we're gonna modify preset informations. Then we're gonna set the constraints again. So I'm gonna select controller, the IK, constrain and point, controller, ankle, constrain, and orient. So now when we move that, it's going to control the movement and it's also the rotation. Next, we need to make sure that we rename everything. So we got bone right knee, bone right ankle, bone right middle foot, and bone end right toe. And we also need to rename the controller, so control right leg. Done. So next, we need to create a bone in the middle, so it will be the pelvis, and then the end will be the head. So we're going to go to the right view again, zoom in a bit. We're going to go to rigging again, bone. I'm going to create my pelvic bone about here and my final head bone end there. Then I'm going to go back to the perspective view. And I need to parent these two bones to the main pelvic bone. But before we do that, I'm going to rename it. So this will be the pelvis. And it will be BN pelvis. And that will be BE head. Right, so we're going to select the left hip, the right hip. I'm pressing shift to select both, and then shift again and the pelvis. And to parent it, all we have to do is press P, and now it's all parented. So when we select the pelvic bone, it's going to select everything. Now we need a way to control the pelvis. So we will create a new curve. So I'm going to align it to the bone. So I'm going to press V again and try to align it. So it seems like it's aligned, so I need to make it a tiny bit bigger. And maybe I'll change the size with the control vertex, so I'll move it a bit. I'll move this a bit. Yep. I'm quite happy with that. So we're gonna select it again, modify and preset informations again. And what we wanted to do is just control the main pelvis. So we're going to select the pelvis, we're going to constrain it, and then we're going to point. So when we move this, it should move up and down, which it's doing. Next, I want something to control the rotation of the pelvis. So I'm going to create a new controller. I'm going to go to curve vertex. I'm going to do these 3 and then these 3. Right. I'm gonna go to the right view. I'm gonna go back to object mode for a minute. I'm gonna rotate it on the Y and it's gonna be 90. I'm gonna move near the back. Next, I'm gonna go back to control vertex, select these two and move them forward. Then select these other two, move them a bit more so it looks quite rounded. I'm gonna go perspective view again so I can see what I'm grabbing. Yep, that looks okay. Now we need to control the rotation of the pelvis with this. So first, modify freeze transformations, select it, select the pelvis, constrain, and we're gonna do an orient control. So when we rotate this, it's rotating it. All right. Next, we need to make sure that the main controller is controlling the rotation too. So when we move it up and down, it comes with it. So can you see the controller is now coming? So again, we're going to select the main controller. We're going to select the rotation, constrain, and point. So now when we move this, it will move it up and down. And we also need to rename it. So this will be pelvis B control CTRL pelvis rotation, and then this will be CTRL pelvis main. So now we also need to control the ankle controllers with the main pelvis control. So we're going to select the pelvis one, the pelvis controller, select the ankle controller, and we're going to point constrain it, and we'll do the same with the other one. Constrain, point. So again, when we grab this, it's going to move it. Last thing that we haven't done is create a simple control to do the middle foot control rotation. So I'm going to create a simple controller again. I'm going to rotate it on X. I'm going to align it to the main bone, which is there. I'm going to duplicate it again. I'm going to align it again, which it looks it is. Then modify freeze transformations. Again, all we want to do with this is rotate the orientation. So I'm going to select that, select the middle bone, constrain, orient, select, constrain the other one, and then orient, and now that should control the orientation. Lastly, we need to control this to make sure this controller is following the main leg control. So we're going to select the main control of the ankle, then the middle foot, constrain and point, and the same here, constrain and point. So now when we grab the main controller, it's gonna make sure that everything follows. All we need missing is renaming these controllers. So that will be control left middle foot, rotation, control right middle foot rotation. And now we have our main basic rig.